welcome again. As promised, this is part two of A Haunting in Arkansas, the true story of the Shear family. I want to continue this story because I know I left a lot of y'all on a cliffhanger in part one. If you haven't checked part one out, I'd advise y'all to go over there and check out part one before y'all get into part two. But if you don't want to, hey, just keep on continuing and rocking with this one. But without further ado, we're gonna get right back into the story. I explained kind of the backstory of what's going on part one. That's why I wanted y'all to go back and look at part one so you can understand exactly what's going on. But for those who already know what's going on, we're gonna keep part two pumping. Let's go.
We'd be watching TV, and behind us, we could hear the stairs, something bouncing down the stairs, and it sounded like a rubber ball. And he would report hearing the same thing. He basically described it the same way I did. Boom, 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 and you would hear that. So it sounded like somebody rolled a ball from the top of the stairs down the stairs. And this all pretty much happened simultaneously. So when it was active, all of these things were going on. We kind of all kind of kept our stories to ourselves. I probably was more vocal about it just because of experiencing things when I was younger. And it kind of was, reminding me of things that had happened when I was younger.
But she cannot fight the feeling that there is something more sinister lurking in their home.
I think he kind of humored me, but at the same time would come up with, well, it's an old house, it makes all kinds of noises, it could be the foundation settling, or he would try to comfort me and make it something other than paranormal.
For Jamie, the feeling was hard to shake, especially when the couple's 5-year-old son, Bridger, once again reported unusual activity in his bedroom.
It was really hard to get Bridger to sleep in his room. He was really scared of that room. And he would pretty much on every night report hearing voices, or his toys would go off without, while he was sleeping, and make noise, and he had all kinds of reports all the time. It seemed like Bridger was the main, maybe it was his room, or they were attracted to him for some reason, but he went through the most, I think, of anyone in the house.
So again, I don't even know why they're still in that house. Uh, it makes no sense. Why would you still be in there and all this is going on? Like, it has to be a better way. It has to be somebody you can call. And man, at this point, I even call a shelter, man. Like, I'm calling the shelter, but a lot of times, you got your man with you. He supposed to be the leader. Not saying he ain't, not saying he's not, because I don't know the brother personally. But at the same time, my whole priority is to protect my family. When these things start going on, me and my family, we got to get up out of there. Even if I don't leave, my family got to go. My kids, my wife, all of them got to go. If I feel like anything could put them in danger, we're not staying here regardless of what she say.
I feel like things kind of progressed. Like, it started off with just like the knocking, and then the lights. Like, we could not keep a light bulb burning in the hallway that was leading. It was the hallway that had the fireplace with all the, like, the pentagram and all that stuff when we first moved in. The hallway leading to that room, we had a lot of trouble. We couldn't keep a light bulb burning no matter what we did. We had an electrician come and look at it, and he says, everything seems fine. I don't have an explanation for you. Bridger would be scared to walk down that hallway, and so we ended up getting those touch lamps that are battery operated, and we just stuck them to the wall, and that way he could just kind of touch them on his way down the hall to give him some light. We couldn't keep batteries in them. They would only last for like maybe an hour, and then they would burn out.
The couple's oldest child, Tori, would also become afraid of the house.
Tori started hearing Bridger's toys. It sounded like he was playing with his toys in his room. And so she would go in there and be like, knock it off. You're too loud. I'm trying to sleep. And then she would realize he wasn't even in there, or thought he was hiding from her when she opened the door. And in fact, he was in our room sleeping with us.
So it seems like it's more or less it's messing with the kids. Am I wrong? Let me know that in the comments. Am I tripping? And if you ain't liked and you ain't subscribed already, what are you waiting for, man? You already know this how we do it. I'm your host, D-Lynn. This is D-Lynn Reacts. And if you ain't already following, what you waiting for? Let's get to it.
The unexplainable phenomena occurring inside their home began to take a mental and physical toll on Jamie and her family.
I never felt like we were in danger, but it was just unnerving. There was always that sense of, I don't know, they're keeping my kids up, like they're not getting sleep, I'm not getting sleep. And so we were always exhausted, and I felt like that made everybody a little more irritable. And, so I feel like it was affecting us, our, health, our mental health, our physical health.
Jamie decided to see if the woman she met at the grocery store would have any more information that could possibly help her.
I just wanted to ask her more questions about it after things had started happening to us. Because when I ran into her, it was very early on. We had experienced little to no, paranormal activity at that time. And so when things started happening, I was like, I gotta talk to this lady and find out what she experienced. She had given me her number and I lost it. And so I went back and I was like, well, she works at Walmart. I'll just go see if I can find her. And I asked and they said she didn't work there anymore. And I couldn't remember her name. I had no idea how to find her again.
Jamie would soon reach her breaking point when she has a terrifying interaction with her 5-year-old son, Bridger.
She was actually with me when the scariest thing that happened in that house.
I try not to, as y'all know, this is a reaction channel and I do react, but a lot of the times where I stop is because if I don't stop and I don't talk to y'all, I'm gonna do it anyway. But if I don't stop and I don't talk to y'all, I get a copyright strike and all these other things that come along with this. We're having a reaction channel, so that's why. But I still like to react and kind of cut the video in and just tell y'all my thoughts of what I'm feeling right now. A lot of times I might not do it because I be trying to perceive what's going on. I like to hear most of the story before I give my opinion.
Happened. So we were working on something on the computer. We were sitting side by side. It was a desktop. So we both had our chairs pulled up. We were working on the computer, and then whatever was on the monitor, it looked like something walked behind us. And we both were like, did you see that? And we looked kind of over our shoulder. We didn't know if it was a shadow or a reflection or what, but because of all the other things that had happened in that house, it seemed like it was something behind us we didn't know. We were working on the computer. It was kind of probably around 8 or 9 at night, and Bridger comes down the stairs and he just kept staring like he was in a trance. And so I was like, Bridger, are you sleepwalking? And he just started laughing, like this, not his laugh, like the scariest laugh I've ever heard. Just laughing, and got right up in my face and just was laughing and laughing and laughing. And I couldn't snap him out of it. So finally I kind of, like shook him a little bit. I'm like, Bridger, wake up. But our dog ran up the stairs as fast as it could, barking into Bridger's room, jumped on Bridger's bed, went to the corner of his bed, like that was against the wall, and started just barking like he had something cornered on Bridger's bed. So we ran up after the dog to see what was going on. And then when we came back down the stairs, the dog's leash was on the stairs. And before that, it was hanging up on a hook. So that was by far the scariest thing that I'd seen, because I thought my son was possessed at that point in time.
Jamie is now convinced her house is haunted and begins searching for someone who can help her family.
I was like, there's no way I can explain this away. We'd already had the balls, the sound of the ball bouncing down the stairs. We've had footsteps. We've had doors slamming. Any of that could be explained away by wind or, old house. But at that point, I was like, no, there's something not right.
Yeah.
Around this time, Jamie wrote an article for the local newspaper describing the weird things that had been happening in her home. It wasn't long after when the Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research saw the article and decided to contact Jamie. They agree on a date and time the paranormal team could come out to the house later that month. But little did the Shea family know that tragedy was right around the corner.
Like, comment, let me know what's going on. Let me know where you from. Let me know how you feel. And also let me know what other videos y'all want me to react to. Anything that y'all see that's dealing with the paranormal or dealing with, or just put me on any other content creator that y'all know that I might not know. Hey, let me know down in the comments what y'all feel about it.
I had picked up the kids from school. We had a minivan, and both of the boys were buckled in. They had their, one had their half car seat, one had the full car seat in the very, very back. Tori was sitting up front, and I had just picked her up from school. We were heading home. It was only about maybe a 3-mile drive, like from one exit to the next, to go home. But they were doing construction on the road at the time, and one of the barrels was out of place. And so it was kind of in the middle of the road, in the middle of the lane. And so I went to like dodge it, and I just overcorrected, and we ended up flipping several times, rolled up the embankment. We went completely head over heels. Sometime in that process, Tori was ejected from the van, and the van rolled over on top of her, and she was pinned underneath the van. I didn't know where she was, because when there was glass everywhere. We were all, I was all scraped up, and I looked over and she wasn't in her seat. And so then I checked, and Bridger and Jackson were still buckled in, hanging upside down, because the van was upside down. I couldn't find Tori, and another car, some lady was running like full speed towards me and said, "There's someone underneath the van."
Now, this is terrible. This is more sad than anything. She's driving down, and I guess she flipped the car, and one of her child got pinned up under the car. Now, this could be straight a freak accident, or this could be something paranormal. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think.
Hospital, General Hospital. This is Medic 5, currently inbound to your facility, ETA of about 10 minutes.
Miraculously, 13-year-old Tori ultimately survives and recovers in the emergency room with life-threatening injuries.
It had rained really hard for several days before that, and I think that's the only thing that saved her life, because the ground was really soft and she was able to sink in, and so it did break her back. She had compression fractures. Sorry, it's really hard for me to talk about this, but I think that she would not have made it if the ground had not been soft like that.
Leading up to the devastating crash, the paranormal activity in the home became unbearably obvious.
Ben had seen what looked like the tail end of a Victorian gown going up the stairs, just the very tail end of it. Like he just caught it out of the corner of his eye. We had seen what looked like pipe smoke, like in the kitchen on the counter. Like there was nothing there, but it just like a little stream of smoke, and it looked like it was coming off like a cigarette or a pipe.
Hey man, if the ghost getting high, man, so sell me a dub, man. I'm just saying, bro. Sell your boy a dub, man. If y'all doing it like that, cause I know they got smoke on the other side, man. Like if they got smoke down here, man, they got to have smoke on the other side. I just want a dub. You know what I'm saying? Don't hide it, divide it. That's all I'm saying. You know?
So things, we had started seeing things and hearing things, and it was getting a lot more active. Bridger was getting more and more scared to sleep in his room. We were losing sleep. So this was all happening leading up to the day of the wreck. And then we started seeing things out of the corner of our eye. We saw what looked like the outline of a shadowy figure in the window upstairs. That happened the same day as the wreck. So that was something that did happen. I don't think the house caused the wreck. I think we were just under so much stress and so sleep deprived, and just our whole, home life was just out of whack. I just think that, maybe it made me a little more jumpy, and, I think that could have played into the wreck, but I don't think that an entity caused the wreck. Nothing jumped out in front of me or.
Okay, so she cleared that question up I asked earlier. So it had nothing to do with paranormal activity per se, but it was the fact that because the paranormal activity was happening, they wasn't getting any sleep, and they were kind of sleep deprived, and she was trying to drive, and that's a bad combination.
Took the wheel or anything like that. I just think it was just the pure exhaustion for being in that house.
After spending time in the ICU and a total of 10 days in the hospital, Tori is finally released to go home. Months later, after seeing progression in her daughter's health, Jamie reaches out to the paranormal group to schedule a time they could visit the house.
We kind of pushed back them coming to investigate until Tori was healed a little more.
The Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research would soon arrive for their investigation at the Shea house. The group is led by Karen Schillings, along with psychic medium Angela Lowe, her husband Alan Lowe, and daughter Violet, who also possesses the gift to communicate with spirits. Upon entering the home, the psychics Angela and Violet would quickly notice a shift in the energy.
Comment your favorite ghost story. Let me know. Comment your favorite paranormal activity story. Let me know in the comments. Comment the most memorable one you've ever had. And I'm assuming if y'all follow my channel, if y'all watching this, that y'all have had paranormal experiences before. So I just like to know what. Let me know what your most memorable paranormal experience is.
When Violet approached Bridger's bedroom, she immediately felt surrounded by several negative spirits.
I think she used the word like a sea of people. I don't know. I remember it was whatever she said. She made it sound like it was like a crowd of people. That was in Bridger's room where she experienced that, and that was where he would report that he was like, I can't sleep. I'm hearing all this talking, and we would ask what kind of talking. He was like, I can't understand. Everybody's talking over each other. So that would make sense that it was multiple, because it would be a lot of noise from a lot of different spirits.
It was like a whole sea of people. They weren't happy. They seemed pretty miserable. It felt like it didn't want you there. Like you shouldn't be in this room. What, leave, goddamn it, leave, shit.
Jamie would reveal important information to help the team understand the history of the property.
One of my teachers from my high school was part of the historical society, and so I asked her questions about it because I knew that she knew a lot about the history, and she verified that it was the original stagecoach stop and was like a speakeasy type place, and then it was also the county jail at one point. I mean, so I got all of this from someone that was a member of the historical society.
The group decided to use a spirit board in an attempt to contact whatever was haunting the home.
They were asking the Ouija board questions. They asked if the spirit that was in the house had a name, and it did spell out Seth, Seth. So when they started asking the Ouija board questions, they started asking when the spirit was alive, and the spirit.
How many of y'all have actually used a Ouija board before? Everybody knows what it is. I've never in my life used it. I know people who have, but I just don't get that far into the Ouija board thing. Like I like to keep a good distance between me and the spirit world. Not trying to go over there no time soon. You know, I can talk about it and I can laugh about it and I can react to it, but I'm not trying to actually interact with the motherfucker. You know, like that. You know what I mean? Like,
spirit responded on the Ouija board, never. And this was after we had already figured out that the name of the spirit was Seth. They asked what the name was, and he said Seth. And they asked when it was alive, and it said never. Then after that, is the very next question was, have we seen you, or can we see you? And then the Ouija board started going in a figure 8, and then ended up going to the camera and pointing at the camera. So I guess they were like, you can see me on this camera.
Immediately after the planchette turned to the camera, Alan Lowe, the technical specialist of the group, notices something chilling on his viewing monitor.
whoa.
So after the Ouija board and the Blanchette went and pointed at the camera, they reviewed the footage, and this was very similar to what I saw when I was walking down the hallway. It looked like it was a figure that started forming from almost the ceiling. It was very tall. It wasn't, just a small little shadow. It looked like a head kind of formed, and then you could kind of see the shape of a human figure, but nothing was defined. It was kind of transparent, and it lingered for a minute. It would kind of form and then kind of start to disappear a little bit and then kind of come back. So this happened for several seconds, and then it was gone.
Jamie fears that the group may have unleashed something even darker into their home after using the Ouija board.
It never felt so bad, and before the Ouija board, I feel like after that, for the next few hours, it was very scary.
This is why you don't mess with that stuff. It goes back to what I was just saying. This is why I don't mess with that stuff, man.
In there, I mean, the whole house turned like ice cold. It felt just evil. It just felt horrible. We were freaked out a lot, but we never felt that like pressing, like malicious feeling until after the investigation.
Using a Native American tradition, Angela and Violet burned sage to bless the house.
So after they did the Ouija board, that they immediately did the cleansing, and that did help, just the sage. And I felt confident that what they did was going to help us. So Casper, some of the members, especially the mediums, said that it was one of the most active, if not the most active presence as far as spirits in the house that they had ever encountered on any of their investigations. And so, I mean, that's tough to hear when you're living in that house and you're told that there are not just one spirit, but multiple spirits in the house, ranging from completely harmless to possibly malicious. That would be Violet. She said that she sensed at least a dozen, maybe more, spirits in the house.
Despite their efforts to cleanse the house of any negative energy, the activity only continued.
I feel like after we tried doing the cleansing and having the investigation, and they did what they could to help us. At that point, we're just kind of at the end of our rope, messing with our nerves and our sleep and our moods, and being able to just come home and feel like this is our sanctuary. We never really got that in that house. After Bridger was in the trance and the stuff with the dog, I just feel like we were just done, and we started looking for a way to be able to leave that house.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. If y'all want to see the original video, like I say, I'm gonna leave it down in the comments so y'all can watch the whole video all the way through without me reacting to it. But anyway, it's all love. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Until then, keep it ghost.